What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, interesting rotation this week. A lot of mass appealing stuff. There's a few things that are on the sweeter side, but a lot of fresh blue fragrances, some Parfum flankers to some of my favorite blue fragrances. Just a lot of mass appealing, compliment getting type stuff that smell really good and work well for every situation. Most of the ones in this videos anyways. So it is week number 169 in the weekly rotation. I want to talk to you about it, so stay tuned. Starting off on Sunday is pretty new to the collection. I'm very happy to have this one. This is the sweetest fragrance in this video, to be honest with you. 1 Million Elixir from Paco Rabanne. Big fan of this one. So happy to have this. I do get a little herbaceous type of feel. Still very sweet, but not as sweet as like the original 1 Million. It doesn't have that youthful sweetness, even though there is tonka bean and vanilla. The woods here kind of ground it a bit to where it's a more manageable sweet fragrance, I think, for some that aren't really down with the super sweet fragrances. Don't be wrong, still very sweet, but not on the level of some of the previous versions of 1 Million. This is kind of starting to run a race with Privé as my favorite, because I'm really digging this one. Performance has been absolutely fantastic, as you would expect. It smells incredible. I'm still spending some time with it. I will be doing a full review in the next week or so with the recording of this video. I want to spend a little bit more time with it, but I'm really digging this one. The wife is a big fan as well. If you haven't tried this one yet, you should really get your nose on this during the day. 1 Million Elixir from Paco Rabanne. Then I got the shower. Since I pulled this one out last week out the shower, I just kept it on the rotation table because I've been enjoying it. Blast from of weekly rotations past is Gap Yuzu Chino. Not something that's easy to find. I've looked on the internet. I can't find it anywhere. This is a few years back that my brother and sister-in-law got it as kind of a stocking stuffer. This and another Gap fragrance for me, because I'm, they know I like fragrances. And zesty orange, bright yuzu smell, as in the name. The color's fitting. It's a mandarin orange yuzu combo. I've never seen a note breakdown, but that's really what it smells like to me. Fresh, bright, juicy, weak performer, perfect gym bag and out the shower refresher type of scent, and that's what I use it for. And it's nice to have been revisiting this one recently, but out the shower, Gap Yuzu Chino. Moving into Monday, I wore this one during the day, and I wore it again out the shower. I just finished doing a full review on this. Big fan of this one. This was my favorite of the new flankers in the Club de Nuit line from Armaf. This is Club de Nuit Iconic, the Bleu de Chanel clone of the group. They did a very good job. I put this up there. I love the color scheme too. This metallic blue with the mirror polished chrome. I put this up there with Al Haramain Amber Oud Blue Edition. A lot of citrus, smoky woods, warm in the dry down, a little musky with a nice incense tone pretty much throughout. Performance is really good on my skin, well above average. I wouldn't call this a beast, but it's a very good performer. I've just been digging this one. This is the one I'm going to reach for the most. Over Untold and over Urban Man Elixir. That's the three that I got recently. I don't have the ladies release. Imperial, I believe, was the fourth one that released. Didn't appeal to me, so I didn't get that one, but I ended up liking the blue fragrance the most. Go figure. Big fan of the Bleu de Chanel DNA. I do have other fragrances that smell like Bleu de Chanel. I have Bleu de Chanel Parfum. It is my favorite version, but this one I would take over fragrances like Missoni Parfum Pour Homme, for example, which still great clone of Bleu de Chanel from another designer house, but Armaf, they kind of outdid themselves with this one. Definitely check out my full review for more details. There are links to all these fragrances down in the description if you're interested, but really digging this one. All day long I was wearing Armaf Club de Nuit Iconic. Moving into Tuesday, pretty excited to have finally gotten my nose on this one. Twisted Lily was nice enough to send a bottle my way, and if you want to get a sample or check out the bottle, there's a 10% off code with the link down below to check out from the newest collection from Amouage. This is Lineage. Yes, this is one of the women's bottles, but fellas, I gotta tell you, nothing feminine about this scent. It's a smoky, spicy aquatic. More marine than aquatic. It's very salty, ambergris type smell. Heavy saffron in the top. A little bit of a leathery feel, more of a spicy saffron, more so than leather. There's other spices here as well, with the typical smoky incense smell that you would expect from Amouage, kind of their signature DNA. And look, this one's a little much at the top. It's pretty in your face, and there's a pungence to it. It's very strong and rich in the opening, and as it starts to settle, this stuff becomes magnificent. It becomes much more marine, saltwater, aquatic, a little bitter, just beautiful. Musky, this not quite dirty musky smell, but almost like a bit of, like the way the ambergris comes across to me, it's almost like there's a little bit of this bitter seaweed feel to it. I don't remember the notes. I don't think that's in there, but that's kind of the bitter, marine, watery, saltwater tone that I get from this one. Like I said, with incense, with spices. Man, this is good stuff. I'm still going to continue to spend time with it. I'll do a full review at some point. But through the first wearing, I am loving this stuff. During the day, Amouage Lineage from their newest collection. And then when I got the shower, we kept it fresh. We went pineapple and woods with Lataffa Qaed Fursan. Another one that I'm slowly working my way to a full review on. I've been spending time with here and there. One of the best $15 steals out there. You can get this for $14.99 from Joma Shop. That's where I got this bottle. Again, links are down below if you want to check it out. This is a worthy blind buy for most people. And no, it doesn't smell like Hachivat or Aventus. I literally just had somebody ask me that today in a comment on one of my posts on Instagram. No. Anytime anybody hears pineapple, they just immediately think of those scent profiles, the Aventus style. It's not like that. It's a very tropical scent, a little bit of spices, very juicy pineapple smell at the top, with a soft woody tone, a little musky as it dries, but overall very tropical warm weather feel. Even though the bottle may not point you in that direction, the scent profile definitely will. Average, slightly above average in performance. I would say slightly above average. I get kind of in that 7-hour range of longevity on my skin. I've heard people say they get great performance out of this, so maybe I'm going a little nose blind to it, but I mean, even 7 hours is fantastic for this $15 just gorgeous tropical fragrance. So I would encourage you to definitely check this one out. This is blind buy worthy and super safe to begin with. It's 15 bucks. It smells great. If you like tropical pineapple scents, it's a no-brainer, easy pickup for you. Out the shower, Lataffa's Qaed Fursan. Moving into Wednesday, this is one of the newest releases from Sphinx Fragrances. They have 3 new releases, and Black Anubis was my favorite from the first 6. Well, now Sphinx Elixir has rocketed to the top, and Black Anubis has taken a backseat in the number 2 position. This is a gorgeous, warm, rich, sweet and smoky type of fragrance. Little funky. It's so good. It's got a bit of a jammy floral tone, a little bit of a rose smell to it. I believe it's rock rose is what's in here, but it is a little bit of a jammy rose tone. They have this Sphinx Mystery Elixir Accord that's in there, but it's a lot of incense. I got to tell you, it's a smoky incense smell. Middle Eastern tone. This could easily be an Amouage, a sweeter Amouage fragrance in my opinion, because it does have a little bit of that sweet jammy rose smell. Oh, God, it's floating in the air. I smell it just surrounding me. This stuff is magical. I encourage you, yes, sample Black Anubis. I haven't changed my stance on that. But get a sample of this one too and try it out. This may be your favorite from the house. It may be underwhelming compared to how much I love it. Who knows? But if you don't try it, you won't know. This is a fantastic release in my opinion. It really speaks to my taste. That's why I say get a sample, because you can get carded samples, you can get travel atomizers, or you can get full bottles. And I would encourage you to get a sample and try a lot of the offerings from the house. Read some note breakdowns, read some stories. If something appeals to you, I have videos on all 9 fragrances, the first 6, and then the second set that was the 3 newest releases, which this is a part of, if you're curious on more information just from me and what I think about the scent profiles. But this is hands down my favorite. Again, wife really enjoys the smell of this one. Sphinx Elixir, just so good. And then when I got out the shower, we went basically Sauvage scent profile is how you can look at this, with Mercedes-Benz Man Blue. So I had a viewer send this to me quite a while back. They were doing a little bit of cleaning in their collection. They never wear it. They know I like these blue fragrances, these ambroxan heavy fragrances, which it doesn't have ambroxan if I remember correctly, but it definitely smells like Sauvage. Kind of more so product carbon than Sauvage, to be honest with you. Kind of somewhere in between. in many ways is the way to look at it. You get the juicy bergamot smell. You're going to get a little bit of a pepperiness, a lot of lavender. That's the main thing you're going to get is this lavender smell without making it too soapy, but it does have that metallic, citrus, spicy shower gel smell that the Sauvage DNA and scent profile in general is known for. This is easy to like and easy to wear. This is such a good fragrance. There's so many Mercedes-Benz fragrances that I thoroughly enjoy. It is definitely my favorite car brand. Used to work for the brand. I used to sell cars for Mercedes for years. And that's not the only reason I like their fragrances. They always come through with some good, enjoyable, and on the more affordable side from discounters, fragrances for men. They're just great to collect. They offer some really good scent profiles. They usually perform at minimum pretty decent. I haven't had one that performs weak from any of the lines. The original line, the Man line, the Club line, you name it. They've got some good stuff available from the house. And it was nice to revisit this one. Out the shower, Mercedes-Benz Man Blue. Moving into Thursday, this is my massive 200 milliliter bottle. This is my favorite version of Sauvage. Speaking of Sauvage with the last fragrance. But this is Dior Savage Parfum. Kind of the dark horse flanker of the group. Most people's least favorite, my absolute favorite. This is underrated for its performance because people go nose blind to this one. This is actually a great performer. A lot of it's not a room filler in projection like the EDT and the EDP and the Elixir can be. This one's still a strong projector early on, but it's got a rich scent bubble, sillage, and trail that's smoky, sweet, a little spicy. Still has a little bit of that Ambroxan feel to it, even though it's not listed in the notes. This ties to the Sauvage DNA way more than Elixir does. It's more refined. It's smooth. It doesn't have that screechy, heavily chemical synthetic smell of the other flankers that kind of turn a lot of people off of the Sauvage DNA. So much so, I enjoy this one so much so that I'm thrilled that I have a 200 ml bottle. Oh man, this is so good. All day on my skin, 10, 12 hours, easy on my skin. That's why I say people go nose blind to it. I go nose blind to it as well. But when my nose comes back hours later, I'll get strong whiffs of it. Like I said, the sillage is actually quite strong. The scent bubble that you'll have throughout its entirety on your skin is actually pretty potent. I enjoy this one. Again, my wife's a big fan of this one. I have gotten my fair share of compliments with this one because I go back to it randomly throughout the year. It's not too heavy, too smoky, too sweet for me to wear in the summer. I've worn this on hikes recently. In the last year, during the summer, I've worn it on a hike. I wore it on a hike with my wife about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Well, this particular week, I wore it that day, the day we went hiking. That's what this particular wearing is, matter of fact, from this past week. Because we go on at least one hike a week, no less than a week and a half. And I don't know, it's just something about this one, just, I tend to reach for it more times than not. And I smell myself the whole time we're out on that hike on the trail, too. This is just, it's a do-it-all that doesn't get appreciated for being such a good do-it-all. During the day, Dior Savage Parfum, my favorite Sauvage. And then when I got out the shower, it was time for a good shave, so I reached for my Zaharoff Signature Noir shave set. This is the aftershave splash. There we go, it focused, and I gave myself a few sprays of the fragrance. Again, wife started sniffing on me when I got out the shower. She said, "Ooh, that's familiar, I know what that is." I said, "What is it?" She said, "I know it's a Zaharoff fragrance. Which one is it?" I said, "It's Signature Noir." So, because this is kind of the go-to time that I wear it. When I'm in the mood for the shave set is when I'll spray the fragrance, because it's nice to have all three products to have this layering experience. Lather the soap, you have a nice shave, splash afterwards to soothe the skin, few sprays to intensify the sillage and the scent bubble that you're going to enjoy for a while. It's just a great experience, and again, probably the most underrated from the house, at least for me, because it's not one of my 4 or 5 favorites that I reach for the most. But in the evenings when I have a good shave, it's kind of my favorite to reach for, aside from rosé. So if you haven't tried these yet, you probably should, especially if you're into traditional shaving. Gentleman's Nod makes these aftershave sets for Zaharoff, and out the shower, that's what I used. Used Signature Noir shave set, the splash, the soap, and the fragrance. Moving into Friday. So I actually didn't wear anything out the shower, but I did wear this one during the day. And the reason I didn't wear anything out the shower was it actually survived the shower. I smelled my forearms after, and I cleaned my forearms thoroughly when I take a shower as well. And it kept going, because I did a scent of the day reel where I did 5 sprays, 1 on each forearm, 3 around the neck, and I had to do a second take because my body wasn't completely in the frame. So I ended up doubling up the sprays on the same spot. So I was wearing 10 sprays, 2 sprays, 2 sprays, 2 sprays, 2 and 2 of Why Le Parfum. My favorite why. It immediately has become that. I had a decant prior. I'm glad to have this 60 ml now. It is the best smelling one to me. Sticks to my skin like glue. It, like I said, it survived the shower. Granted, they were double sprays in the exact same spots, but I had 10 sprays on and it managed to survive everything. This is so frickin' good. Look, I understand not everybody's going to feel the way I feel about it. Some people prefer the EDP. There's some people that are in love with the new EDP Intense. Some people prefer Live. I like all of them, but this is the best one for me because it's strong and long-lasting with the sillage and its longevity. It's not overwhelming in projection, but it's very noticeable. My wife complimented me multiple times. We were out running errands. We went to Costco that day and so on. I think we went to eat at Panera Bread for a late lunch that day as well. Like, she kept complimenting me on how well I smelled, and trust me, I could smell myself too. I smelled fan-freaking-tastic. This grapefruit, apple, aldehydes, and ginger combo kind of reminds me of this fizzy, effervescent, almost orangish type of smell. Some of you have heard me say that before. It almost comes across like a fizzy orange, the way the grapefruit is. Crispy ginger, just beautiful, has the ambergris DNA without it even being listed in the notes. Nice and woody. This is just magnificent. This is my favorite version of wine, like I said. So if you haven't tried this one yet, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is the best in the line, in my opinion. My second favorite being the Eau de Toilette, because I just like to wear it so much, especially when the weather gets warmer. But this isn't too much for the warm weather. It's great in the cold weather. This is probably the most versatile as far as seasonal situations in the line. My opinion, of course. During the day, and nothing out the shower, but during the day, Yves Saint Laurent, this is Why Le Parfum. Finally, on Saturdays, the newest release from Happyland Studio. I'm thoroughly impressed with EJ. He continues to top his previous releases. He made an iris fragrance. I don't know if he was thinking of me when he did it, because, I love iris, but this is an interesting one. It's called ZZYZX Road, which is a somewhat infamous road between Los Angeles and Vegas, out in the desert, hence the cactus with the hat on it. It is on the dry side as far as scent profiles, but there's orris root in here as well as iris, and it has that waxy root earthy tone to the iris. It's not super powdery. It's a little powdery, obviously. It's iris and orris, which orris is the butter they create from the iris flower. With some leather. There's a suede and labdanum combo that gives this strong leathery feel. Not quite the fuzzy suede, more of a soft leather smell. Cedar really stands out to me. There's other woods, but the cedar really jumps out to me. There's a light sweetness here as well. This stuff is awesome. I gave it an 8 out of 10 the first impressions, and had it been a full wearing first and not just a test spray first impressions, it probably would have been an 8.5 or a 9, because I'm not decided on it just yet, but I'm going to spend more time with it. This is great. This immediately is a top fiver from the house for me. This can easily knock several that I would have considered potentially in the top 5 from Happyland. This can knock several of them out of there. It is so good, God. Because it's so hard. God, that's good to come across a new scent profile on iris. And when I saw the notes, I thought this might smell kind of like Dior Homme. Not really, not all that much. Light resemblance, but dry, earthy, soft, powdery, leathery, and woody, iris dominant fragrance. This is kudos, EJ. I don't know if you're gonna see this video or not. This is freaking awesome. Get a sample of this one, guys. Don't just blind buy anything. Just get a sample and try it. You may love it. You may hate it. You might fall somewhere in between. But get the experience, because you might want to get a hold of this one. Once you try it out, it might be for you. Or you'll just rule it out for a few dollars on a sample. But if you like iris, it's worthy of your time and the few dollars it costs to get a sample from Happyland Studio. Through one wearing, I'm kind of falling in love with this one. Happyland ZZYZX Road is fan-freaking-tastic. Then we got the shower. A familiar fragrance to the out the shower portion of the rotation and the last several months is Cristiano Ronaldo's CR7. Play it cool. Basically, more soapy Paco Rabanne Invictus. Not Invictus Aqua. It's still got that sweet aquatic smell of Invictus mixed with like a heavy lavender soapiness. I just love the way this one smells. I go back to it quite often. I mean, it's not a huge dent, but you can see the juice level dropping. I mean, I wear this one. I don't wear something to the gym all the time. I've kind of been giving myself a break when I when I go to the gym in the mornings. I haven't been wearing a fragrance as often. I would say maybe 2 or 3 days out the week I wear a fragrance to the gym. And it's more so my scent of the day and then something out the shower most days. I've been trying to give my neck, the skin on my neck, a little bit more of a break because I'm always wearing something. And this is always an easy reach for me to go back to, whether it's to the gym, which it's actually pretty strong for the gym. That's why I only do like 3 sprays, plenty. And out the shower, it's great. It's so easy to go to. It's very enjoyable to smell on myself. It really goes well with a clean out the shower type of vibe because it's a very clean out the shower scent with a little bit of sweetness. It's kind of how you can look at it. So out the shower, becoming a channel favorite out the shower, is Cristiano Ronaldo CR7, Play It Cool. Well, that was this week's rotation, and until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What'd you guys wear this week? I love reading those comments down below. I always have, always will. It's my favorite comments to read every week. A lot of mass appealing stuff this week. I would say the least mass appealing is this. I mean, even the new Amouage fragrance is actually quite mass appealing. I mean, it's much more deep, rich, complex, and higher quality than all the rest of the mass appealing stuff in here. This is about as close to not being mass appealing as it gets in this video, and even Amouage Lineage is actually pretty good crowd pleaser. I can see a lot of people enjoying this one. If you like Amouage's signature and you want kind of an aquatic from them, this is worth checking out. And then, like I said, this is kind of the nichest. We'll put that down so I can do the air quotes. The nichest of the fragrances here, because it's not your average scent profile, not even a designer scent profile for Iris. It's actually quite unique. So a bunch of easy like stuff, a bunch of stuff that my wife is a really big fan of. Like I said, a lot of compliment getting-esque type DNAs in this particular week. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later because they all smell fan-frickin-tastic. Have a good one, guys.